Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do the request reading for ATEEZ member Mingi to do an update about how he's doing with his current situation, with his mental state. So let's go and see a bit about the energies that are available for him. The first card that we get, it's the Death card, the Five of Wands, the Seven of Wands, the Empress, the Six of Cups, and the Devil. So there's like definitely he's going through a transformation right now. Probably they are like finding like a medicine or a method or something that it's working, is like giving more results that what he was experiencing before. Definitely there's a lot of there's a transformation, but at the same time there's also a lot of resistance. There's a lot of defensiveness inside of him. So probably he also wants to get out of this state very, very fast, because he wants to do a lot of things here with all these ones. It definitely tells me that he definitely wants to start working, or he wants to work more often. He wants to put his energy or his frustration into some kind of productive activity. I think that being resting, or being on in a in a place where he has to rest and he has to reflect and he has to stop for a bit. I think that he's done with that feeling. I don't think he just doesn't have the patience anymore. But at the same time, there's a lot of things that need to change, because if he rejoins the group, like, there are a lot of things that are not the same as when he left the group, but when he went on this in the hiatus, in a sense that the group is getting busier and busier. They're having a lot of gigs, and they're having a lot of work to do. So there's like a concern about how he's going to deal with all these demanding activities. And I think that he knows that. He knows that that he needs to be ready, that there cannot be like he cannot he has to be okay. He doesn't have to be fearful. And I think that this, what he is going through, actually makes him feel really on the defensive, makes him feel like he has all this. There's like a sense of losing control of your own emotions. And he is entering a phase where all these possible, like, a few months before, these symptoms were of a deep sadness and probably like crying or like feeling really down. And now these symptoms are becoming like more aggressive, in the sense that he is feeling less patient, and he is feeling a bit more frustrated and angry at himself. So because if this is anxiety, there's no control over anxiety. And I think that this defensive mode that he is in, or that he's going to be in, is because it these kind of situations or anxiety attacks, you don't know when it's going to happen. So it's like you don't have control over how your body is going to react to certain situations of stress. So even though you need to get back to work and you need to go back to reality and interact with people, because that's the more sane thing to do, the healthier way to actually trying to learn to live with this, not to evade so much. I think that he went through a period where he was away from social events or crowds or anything that would make him feel anxious. But it's like now probably they are advising him to get out more, to do more, to get involved more in different activities. So he can stop like going back to reality and to what's his normal routine. But at the same time, inside of him, there's this constantly sense of alarm, of feeling like paranoid, like, because I don't know if someone had gone through these kind of anxiety attacks, but they can come and go easily, but when it happens, it's so intense that you feel like you're dying. So probably you are not dying, your body is not suffering, but your mind and your emotions feel out of control. So it's not, and it's so complex. This is why I cannot put into words exactly, because I think that everyone experienced this in different ways. There are people that actually say that they have anxiety attacks and they have no idea what it's like to have an anxiety attack, because feeling pressured for a certain situation that you have to go through, or feeling anxious, or feeling pressured and feeling really nervous because of probably going somewhere new that you don't know, or feeling uncertain about things and feeling really nervous and really out of control, it doesn't mean that you're having an anxiety attack. So an anxiety attack is much more intense. This is why I sometimes think that people use that word too lightly, and and also the word of depression also. I think that people just use these kind of labels to probably to try to put a name on what's going on, but actually they have to be a bit more understanding that people that do go through this kind of stuff, it's it takes a lot of circumstances and symptoms that they have to go through in order for you to be like, okay, yes, you're having an anxiety attack, or you're having depression. It's not just because it happened to you once at the mall, or it happens to you once at work, because stress can trigger a lot of emotions and can trigger a lot of situations. So I think that in the case of Mingi, I think that, like I was saying in his individual reading that I did for him, this actually is something that had always been there with him. And somehow he had managed to live his life the best way possible without noticing it, or trying to like deny that he felt this way, probably because he had no one to talk to. And then when he started like being in this career, in this pressure, it's really high. Pressure when you make it and pressure when you don't make it. The pressure is always there. So you definitely need to be good at working under pressure. And I think that he, for a while, actually, he was really good. He was really good. He was really good at using that level of adrenaline to actually, or that level of probably feeling very uneasy inside, or feeling like feeling really out of control. And he was like, somehow he tried to use this as an inspiration to keep going, like being like, okay, I'm not going to let this affect me, I'm going to keep going anyway. And actually what it is that the symptoms keep like like they keep piling up one against another until one day probably he just snapped and he just couldn't get out anymore of his room, or he just stuck there in that situation, because it's like the body lets you know when something is not right. And then your mind also starts to wander a lot. But in his case, since he's always so busy, or he was always busy with the group, maybe his mind was the easier to trick, to be like, okay, this is not happening to me because I have so much work to do. So, but then the body can start manifesting a few symptoms. And here with the less cards, the Empress, the Six of Cups, and the Devil, there's a lot of creativity in him, actually. I think that he has a lot of ideas. I don't know if he writes some of the songs, or he writes the material, or if he's involved in some kind of creative process. I think actually he would be really good at working as a producer or something like that, or like writing lyrics, or because actually I see him really inspired and really trying to put all his effort into work, because he has a lot of ideas, and the ideas are really good, and it also makes him feel alive, makes him feel productive. I think there's something about him that he doesn't want to feel useless. He doesn't want this condition to stop him from actually doing what he loves. And he's right about that. I mean, I think that I understand why he wants to defeat this, or why he wants to go back as soon as possible, and why this frustration is here. But he needs to be careful, because here with the Six of Cups and the Devil, he can have really good periods of time in where he doesn't feel the symptoms, and he could actually have fun and go back to stage. But then eventually it could come back, the symptoms. So I'm not sure if I can say that he could like return, and actually return for good, being there, just there, incorporate to the group, and being there like always. I think he could do this every once in a while. But also with the Devil here, there's like a lot of manipulation from the company also. It's like the company is like, okay, are you in or are you out? Like what's going on? If you're staying with us, you have to have a stable role, so to say. You cannot just come and go, or you cannot just like come back and be like, okay, I will participate in a few performances, and then I don't know where, but I will be gone again, because this uncertainty, or this feeling of not knowing, actually is what also makes the group feel a bit anxious, in the sense that they do worry about him also. So it's like the whole group dynamic changes when you, and it also, I want you to take into consideration that this is not just because of the group. uh when you have a family member that goes through these kinds of stuff, the family also gets affected. So I want you to picture this as the members feeling a bit worried for him, because it's not that they want him to pretend like he is okay, but they are, just like he's on alert, people around you are also on alert. So this is why, and you want to help, and you also get frustrated because you don't know how to help. It's like it's like when you try to, I don't know, it's like this feeling of cautious, or being really cautious, trying not to do anything to accept him, or, and it's a feeling of uncertainty, and it's a feeling that also makes you feel nervous, because you are like, what if something happens to him? You're like, what do we do? This is also something that sometimes a lot of families members, or a partner, or a couple, or I mean a boyfriend or girlfriend, or children always ask about, when they have someone that also has anxiety or this kind of mental conditions. They always ask, what do we do, and how do we know if they are going through this, and how do we help, and what do we do? So it's like, it's not easy to be from the other side, and it's not easy to be in this person's mind also, because, like I said, it's not something that you can predict, that you can, like, oh, okay, tomorrow morning you are going to have this. No, it doesn't have a schedule. It just happens, or it can just not happen. You can go for years and years and not have one episode. So this is why it's a very sensitive topic, and I think that he definitely needs to continue. If he is going to counseling or something like that, he needs to keep talking about how he feeling. And also, I think that writing songs and being in a creative process is very healing for him. So if he's involved in some, or if they want to include him in some, because I don't know if he writes songs, or if he is involved in some kind of creation. I don't know. Maybe some fans can let me know. But if he is, maybe this is the way for him to actually feel like he's giving something to the group, or that he's collaborating, because he's also tired of being in hiatus. He's also like, because he actually is a very active person. He can be sensitive inside, but also at the same time he has a lot of fire inside in his own body and persona. So it's very hard for him to be in like this very passive mode, waiting for days to go by. He cannot stand it anymore. But at the same time, I think that the company is also very like manipulative in that sense. And I don't think it's actually manipulative. It's just that them as business person, they are like, okay, we need to um, figure out what's going on with him, because I mean, is he being productive? It's like they are thinking about numbers, and they're thinking about productivity, and they're thinking about what can he do to apport something, to give some kind of apport to the group. Can he perform? Can he write songs? Can he record with the group? Can So they are thinking about that, uh, and they are also very cautious, because I think that they are really wise in the sense that they don't want to be seen as insensitive, but they are like reviewing all the whole situation. They are like, okay, we need to come up with a plan, or we need to talk to him. But something has to be decided. Something has to be, because yes, I with the devil here, I see a lot of uh, selfish interests, and probably, yes, money, power, and a lot of things that they actually, they just want to know if he is going to be productive for them. So yes, but I see him like he cannot stay in this state of just not being as. But I have the feeling that also he had been working on something, because since I see once here, I think that he had been like working, probably not presenting. I mean, not being in performances with the boys in front of a camera, but I think that he had been recording or something, because I see him like taking a lot of actions. From the last time that I read for him, that he was like in this resting kind of mode. Now he is not like that. He's having like a lot of activities, and also like a lot of ideas, and he's feeling really, like, really good. But there's this fear, of course, in the back of his head. So maybe someone can let me know if maybe they have seen him, or if they had heard of him working. Because I don't see him like resting, so to say. I see him like getting involved in some kind of project, but that it's very closed doors. It's not at the public or in the public eye. So this is all I have for Mingi. ATEEZ Mingi. So remember, if you appreciate the video, and if you want to share this with some ITinis, I would also be really thankful for it. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't. So guys, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for being here. Bye.